I don't know what happened there. Hello, how is everyone? Can you hear me? Just waiting for Brian to log in. I sent him the link earlier, and I don't know whether the link resets every time you set up a new live. So I then logged in, and I've just pinged him the new link. And yeah, I did that. Then I remembered that due to packing everything away, I don't have headphones. So then I had to go and try and find something to use a headphone. So I've got these in-ear headphones that luckily I have changed the mic to this one so I could actually plug it in. And now what? And it's gold. They're like the most camp fucking things I've ever seen. Whatever are they? But yeah, I'm just waiting to see what he might come in chat if he's having issues. I thought he might not be able to join unless I was physically live. So I've joined. I know he was. I think he wanted to try and join on his phone. So I googled that to make sure he could do that, and he could do that. But we'll see what happens. So while we just wait for Brian to log in, unless we see him in chat because he's got problems. We'll just touch base with you guys in chat and see how everyone is. Just keep your eyes out for a message from Brian in chat, just in case he's got lost somewhere. He is about, because I've literally just spoken to him on the phone. Seeing as I was messaging Mrs. Haj, and messaging him at the same time, and I had to tell him to log on. Then I had to say, don't log on yet, because I've got to go and get headphones. Then I messaged him and sent him a load of kisses. Fuck's sake. So yeah, how is everyone anyway? Who we got in moderate? Why isn't that coming up? Interview chat. Oh, that's interview chat. I didn't even realise you could have that. So that's interview chat. So where's the other chat then? Why's my head gone blank? Oh, that's that chat. Right, so that's comments and reactions there. And then we've got interview chat, which I'll put up there somewhere. Is that going to let me put that up there somewhere? Is Brian actually around anywhere? Hello, Brian. Let's put that up there. Why won't it move? There we go. We'll put that up there. How is everyone anyway? Everyone good? Who has managed to watch this this actual documentary? Who's been able to watch it? See, he's not going to be able to contact my Brian wife on BHTV trying, mate. Come on then, Brian. That is the link. It is the link. I have a question. How surreal is this for you chatting to Brian? I mean, I know. You know me, I'll talk to anyone. And Brian clearly will, because he talked to me. Let's have a look. Copy link. Copy. Well, let me put it in there. How the fuck do you copy and paste on a MacBook? Smash that like button. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. I watched it live. We can't in the UK. No, you can't watch it in the UK. You couldn't watch it in UK. What's the link doing, Brian? Copied. I'm trying to even paste in there. How do you copy and paste on a Can someone tell me how you copy and paste on a fucking MacBook? I don't know. I thought you just clicked it. No, the problem is, even if you've got a VPN, you can't watch it because it's hidden behind a paywall. So everyone at the moment, you have to pay. So you can use a VPN. He's got. Here is Brian. Let's get Brian on before that goes wrong. Let's go. Hello, Brian. I'll put that on. Let's add him there.
Right, let's get rid of the sound on now. Can you hear me, Harsh?
I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know whether I can hear you through my headphone, but I can hear you. I can hear you. through the
it wouldn't
screen.
let me do it. It wouldn't let me do it through the phone. It said it needed to go through Safari. I can't even fucking see you now. I don't know what the fuck's going on here.
What I'm gonna do? Can you see me?
So I can see you on the live there, yeah. So I'll just go with that. Fuck it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go system settings and just change the audio down to my mic sound, and then we shall we'll rattle through this because that it sounded like you was getting as frustrated as what I was.
Oh, it was a nightmare. I was just trying to do it through the phone, and it won't open in Google Chrome. So I'm trying to download Safari on the phone, and then yeah, nothing. It wouldn't happen. So I had to open it on the laptop, and I didn't want to do it on the laptop because the camera's shit on it, and it just looks all wonky. But never mind,
That
we're
don't
in.
matter. Don't matter, mate. Don't matter.
I can hear you.
I'm using my phone now because
Yeah,
we're
no,
supposed to
I'd
be
like to
moving.
use the phone. I'd like to use the
Yeah,
phone. The picture's better. This is the picture's shit, but never mind.
I'm swapping you round. That red lettering with your red top was bugging me. So I changed round, put you on that side. That's better. So, yes, I was just talking to people and finding out who actually watched it, because obviously over in the UK, they've pretty much made it impossible. People saying, can't you use a VPN? But the problem is you can get a VPN and get onto the actual site, but then you've got to subscribe. And because then you try and put your bank details in and their UK bank details, you can't join.
Yeah,
So that was a pointless waste of time.
I watched it for a live on TikTok. That was easier.
Yeah,
You know, there was a girl called Jackie in America, and it was she was connected up to Sarah as well. So I just watched it through that.
yeah. Right, so yes, so you've obviously seen. So some guides. Let's start with some fucking guide rules, shall we, for people in chat? Or obviously this is. I don't generally have guests on here. I had one other guest on here since I've had the channel, and after the live, I pulled the live because there was just something about him that weren't 100%, and it was to do with a dive company. Some of the people on here will know Adventures with Purpose, and
Yeah,
yeah, he'd been basically. It sounded like he'd been being nasty to some female over. There was some theft of some products or some items, and he couldn't give me a straight answer. So well, fuck it.
fuck him off then.
Yeah, that's it. But
I need no wonky characters on here.
no, and the same with chat. Obviously, you are like me, Brian. Not everybody likes us. I don't know why, because we've got magnetic personalities, but not everybody likes us. But this
You
chat,
can't play.
no. But we've got some fantastic moderators, and we work on this. So people can argue with us in terms of not agreeing with what we say. That's absolutely fine. We all think differently. In fact, me and you have both got slight nuances to what we think in this case.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah,
lot
we
we
got
agree
different.
with, but there's some things that
Yep,
we don't. But if
yep.
people get personal in chat, they're gone. That's blocked, and that's
Yeah,
so the
fuck off.
moderators just kick them. No warning, no nothing. If what they're saying is personally directed at any individual, whether it's someone else in chat, and I mean from a personal perspective, name call them whatever, get fucking
Yeah,
shot of them. Don't need them.
fuck off. Get out.
Yeah, that's it. So we've got Brian Harvey's link in the I'll pin that. Can I pin? Oh fuck me! I keep clicking on the wrong thing. That's what happens. I got this.
Goes wonky, doesn't it? As soon as you go live, it all goes fucking tits up.
You've obviously seen plenty of my lives because they seldom go fucking right. Because I'll touch something and
Well,
fuck
we
it
should
up.
have tested it, shouldn't we? We should have like tested the length thing instead of leaving it to the last
Yeah.
minute for it to not work.
Sometimes that's the best thing to do. They're telling me to put my volume up. My volume, believe it or not, is as high as that'll go. That's this mic. I've got to change it again.
Fine.
Yeah,
I can hear you
the
fine.
meter on here is pretty much near to clipping, so I know everyone's got different speaker setups and that, so sometimes that can affect it. But look, we're here to talk about Liam Payne case. We're here specifically to talk about the TMZ fucking hit job that was this Liam Payne, who's to blame kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, there's a lot of people I believe in chat who just haven't got to see it yet. They've seen the snippets, they've seen it, but I think you can probably agree with me, Brian, when you actually sit there from start to finish, as it progresses, you kind of get more and more angry as time goes on, because it's very, very clear.
They're definitely going to get angry when they see it. Fucking hell. I mean, what a, you know, it's, and I'll just say, like, the reason that I feel such a connection to this and doing this, it's literally not for my own purposes, because, you know, I like forget me, you know what I mean? Forget E17, forget all of that shit. It's not important. But what I can bring to it is the experience of going through some of what Liam's gone through here. And I know what it's like to have hit pieces done on you when they're trying to convince the public of a certain narrative, and they are completely destroying this guy's legacy. I knew it from the moment that I saw it come up on YouTube when Brett Watson was talking, and I saw him laugh from the very first moment. And I just thought, what's going on here? The room looks staged. And now we've got further into it, and TMZ, why they're controlling the fucking narrative, I have no idea, or being allowed to. Now I've seen Brett Watson, and I've been able to cross-reference it against people that were completely missing from this documentary. That there was two people that should have been in it. One of them was the fan Diana, that said that she saw Liam at 3 p.m. and he'd just woken up. They quickly scrapped that, and so much so that you can't find this girl on social media. She's completely gone. Even though she done an interview on an Argentinian news network, that's gone. You can't find that because the story has changed now. And what this Diana was saying doesn't fit in. So we know that this is all lies. And we know that they've been watching people on TikTok and YouTube like yourself, like me, and wangling a story that they can get firm on, stick with, and just keep pushing that until, you know, that becomes a narrative. You keep repeating saying, that becomes the narrative. So Diana was one person who, she said she saw him at 3 p.m. and he'd just woken up, which doesn't fit in with none of the storyline that we're getting today. And the other person that should have been involved in this documentary was a guy called Michael Fleischman, who was in the Buenos Aires Herald, said that he was staying in the Casa Sur with his mother, Tony, with an I, and that they was there. And I think the headline says that they saw him in the lobby at 2 p.m. So 3 hours before he apparently fell or jumped, which I don't believe one bit. You know, I don't even believe he was there. You know, that's my take on it. And so they're saying that they saw him at 2 p.m. So when you cross-reference that with the documentary that we saw yesterday, because they give you a timeline on it, don't they?
Yeah.
And at 2 p.m., that is the point when we get that lovely blurry footage from TMZ where Liam appears to pop his head out of the lift. And we weren't sure whether one of the workers, whether that was a corridor in the basement or whatever, but, you know, it appears that someone's giving him something. And he can't be in two places at once. Brett Watson's story is, I would like to know what time that wedding party turned up. That for a start, because there's so much conflicting evidence in Brett's story. He says he sees the body fall. He just happens to be in the room. Yeah. He just happens to be in the lobby. He says that he sees Liam get taken back to his room multiple times. But I've never heard Brett mention about the sex workers being in the lobby, which is around, if I'm right, Roger comes and pays from about 3:45.
Yeah.
So surely this wedding party is there by then, because Roger leaves at 4 minutes past 4 and says that he leaves Liam talking to 10 to 15 guests from that wedding party.
Yeah.
And he says that he was playful and fine.
Yeah.
So none of it makes any sense. And if Brett has seen Liam being taken back to his room multiple amounts of times, well, from what point are you saying that? Because the Fleischmans at 2 p.m. are saying the lobby was virtually empty.
Yeah.
But then when we look on the documentary, he's saying that whether it's him or his wedding guests see him gradually throughout
The
the
day,
morning.
basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's complete rubbish. So that is why I'm suggesting the Fleischmans haven't turned up on this TMZ documentary, or Diana.
Yeah.
The story is all over the place. Now, if it was the truth, why would the story be all over the place like that? You just tell it as it is.
As it is. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly
I mean, Brett
right.
says he sees him in the lobby on the sofa. I'll check the times on that in a minute, but I believe that's around 4ish, something like that. So he claims to have seen that, and he claims to have seen Liam be taken back to his room multiple times. Well, he couldn't have done, because the Fleischmans are saying at 2 p.m. the lobby's empty. So at what point does this wedding party end up in the Casa Sur? That is something that I would like to know, like, firmly.
Yeah. Just seeing whether I can bring it up on here. See whether it says the
I
actual
don't think
time.
it's mentioned. I think it's left sparse, because he's saying that the wedding guests have seen him gradually change throughout the morning into the afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've
But
got to be careful if they're given specific times as well, haven't they? Because if they give
yeah,
a specific time, like we spoke about this the other night, what they have got to be careful is if there was anybody else about that did see something that is outside of their little unit, if you like, then they could throw a spanner in the works.
well, there you go. That's exactly why Diana has gone off the radar,
Yeah,
because she doesn't exist either. She would have been another plant, just like Brett Watson and his little team. They are crisis actors. I'm sorry, but it needs to be said. They're
yeah,
not genuine. They're not real. And on Brett Watson's first interview, when he laughs, when he says he saw Liam fall,
yeah,
well, if we then go to down the rabbit hole, which I believe was the person that was talking about this, who
yeah.
was actually translating well, she's now turned into a
A
wedding
wedding
planner.
planner, yeah,
Yeah, was in the room with him.
yeah,
But a minute ago, you was downstairs in the lobby with him, seeing him getting taken up to his room. So did you follow him up? You must have been like seconds behind him. But now, they need to make the story believable. They need an eyewitness. I saw him fall. Well, Brett says he saw him fall. But then this and there's no mention of a wedding planner or a woman in the room with him on that initial
on the
interview when he
initial one.
laughed.
No, I see it.
No. But
Yeah,
now he's got a woman in the room with him,
yeah,
and she's the one that says, "Someone fall, someone fall."
yeah.
Yeah, and she has to tell him.
Tell him, and he's doing his own thing, and he's got a drink, and
Yeah,
well, there you go. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And what can you say? And I'm like me and you have, like I say, we have nuances on what we feel. Like you've been
yeah,
sort of along a mindset that Liam Payne may not have been there because a lot of the pictures, and I completely agree. A lot of the
yeah.
pictures, when you look at them, they look like they've been altered, they've been adapted.
Well, we ain't got one clear picture, have
No,
we,
we
Arse?
we don't have
That's
anything, and that is what
exactly.
you've got.
We got a clear picture of Brett standing there with
Yeah,
his so-called beer.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We got
So
that.
that's kind of your red flag number one in that. Yeah, all of the pictures, and I'm doing a video just to break this little section down tomorrow, and I asked this question, right? Can you look at any of those photos and imagine you was a juror, you're in a
Mm.
court, right, and someone's telling you that that person did a crime. Would any of those photographs be clear enough for you to convict off of?
No,
And
absolutely
there
not.
isn't any, not one of them,
No.
because they could all be. Liam Payne wasn't an outlier in the way that he looked. Yes, he had some tattoos and things like that, but he wasn't an outlier. Do you know what I mean?
He
He was
seemed, he
just,
seemed like a respectable guy to me.
yeah,
You know, I don't know the bloke really. I've only got to know him since this tragedy's happened. But to me, he does not give me the impression like he doesn't carry on the way, for example, I used to carry on. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I might have been a bit of a lab math, and you know what I mean, trying to be a bit of a boy. He doesn't come across like that. He comes across very humble, very, you know, like a nice guy. He doesn't seem like a kicking off type of
The
person.
world's
It,
different though, Brian, isn't it? From when you was, when me and you, I'm not a lot younger than you, but I remember watching you guys, and the difference back then was that social media wasn't like it is now. So you
well, there
could
was
get
none.
away
There
with
was, yeah,
stuff,
there
couldn't
was
you?
none. Yeah,
Yeah,
there
you
was
could
none.
get away with stuff. But
Yeah,
now you have got to be of that mentality. Anything I do could get seen. And I
yeah,
think, again, you would raise this point, and that is that even back then, without social media, you would have to be discreet about some of the things you did. You know, you
yeah.
would.
Well,
It wasn't
for
about.
example, if I was doing drugs in a hotel room, for example, there is absolutely no way you would be leaving everything laid out like that for any, um, you know, any maid, any housekeeping that was going to come in. I
Yeah,
mean, it would have been weed anyway. But what I was doing in the room, there'd have probably been a damp towel along the bottom of the crack of the door.
keep the smoke in.
Um, you'd have been smoking out the window. After you've skinned up, you would have been clearing that up. That boom, you wouldn't be leaving anything about. So Liam definitely would not have carried on like that.
No,
Plus, he was going for a visa. He could do nothing that would bring comebacks on himself to stop him from getting back into America. Weren't he renting some kind of mansion or
for
something
like
out there?
$9,500 a month.
Right. Well, you wouldn't risk not being able to go back to that and your missus.
No,
Um, and you know, getting on to Kate, why
and
weren't she
but that's
interviewed?
where this laptop comes into it, doesn't it? Because I always thought that you've got this laptop situation, and it's like what we just spoke about, and it's that a question gets asked, a red flag gets asked, and then they have to kind of fill in that blank, and
That's
that's
what
where
they
that
did.
laptop come in, because
Yeah.
people would be thinking, hold on a second, how did this happen so quickly? How does it happen so rapidly? With Liam
Mm.
Payne being someone who he was used to doing this, not being funny, but who knew that Liam Payne was doing the things that he was doing to the extent that he was apparently doing them. So that's one of two directions you go in then, and that is either it didn't happen
Mm.
or he was fucking skilled at doing what he did with no one knowing. So we're
Yeah,
supposed to
I
believe
don't,
that
I don't, I don't believe that.
no, but they're your only two angles, aren't they? And either one of those do raise a question because you
Yeah,
think if he wasn't doing them, then why here? Then why was he doing
I'm
it
not.
here?
Yeah, I'm not saying that. You know, in all of his years in the band and that he's probably not had a line of gear. I'm not saying that. You know, he probably didn't like the odd little whiskey. I mean,
Yeah,
he's sitting on what was it, Logan Paul's podcast, and he sat there and had a little whiskey.
yeah.
Sometimes you can over embellish a story and that as well because
He
he
knew
was
that
sitting
though. He brought that up, didn't he? He's when he spoke about the way he was on Logan Paul. He knew
mm,
that he'd fucked himself up. And he even said, "I was trying to be the big I am on there." So he did
yeah,
over embellish the stories because he knew
yeah,
that that's what
yeah,
people wanted to hear. And then in hindsight, he's like,
yeah,
"Why the fuck did I even say that? Because I don't do that."
because he's not really like that. And
No,
you know, I mean, someone that knows him, Katie Waisel, I said, look, did you ever know him to be that way, like this drug taking? She was like, no, no. And that's someone that knows him, was on the same show as him, come from the same place as him. And I think had even messaged him at some point before this had happened. So absolutely no way. But what I can see that the media have done, and they've done this to me in the past, they are picking up on different things that you've said, you know, like the news articles that I sent you of myself earlier on, where I said I spoke to Simon Danchuk about this VIP Westminster child abuse thing and what happened with the manager, Tom Watkins, in E17, and mentioned a few things from the past. And then the next day, all of the media put out stories. Brian Harvey suicidal, right? And there was multiple of them, weren't there? What I sent you.
Yeah.
Right, that's why a metal gate went up on my door, because they were going to take me out. Right, that and that's all there is to it. They was going to take me out, and if you think these people haven't got it in them, they have. And especially when you know something, and I suspect that Liam knew something, and I suspect that person is Simon Cowell. And does Simon Cowell cover up crimes? Yes, he does. He covered up what happened to Katie Waisel with his head of global A&R. And this guy went on and done it again to another person that was on the X Factor. So does Simon Cowell cover up crimes and know stuff? Yes, he does. Was Liam about to do a documentary? I've heard a rumour that he was. He was doing interviews and speaking up a little bit. So no doubt he would have. He's seen some stuff, 100%. I've seen some stuff.
To be fair, even the stuff that he'd said on Diary of a CEO, and that was quite... It wasn't real in depth, but I think it was enough to start people thinking a certain way about that whole X Factor process and how bands are treated.
Well, ain't they started on him now? The CEO guy.
Yeah.
Didn't they do something 4 days ago? Now they're trying to take him down.
I think I saw something.
Yeah, I spoke to Katie Waisel about it earlier. She was the one that told me. Yeah, they're trying to take him down now. He would have said other stuff on camera that guy has got that can't come out. I'm pretty sure of it.
Yeah,
but you know what?
This here. I'll see if I can share it. What it does when I share it.
Yeah, go
on. But it's Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him.
Sharing harmful health misinformation in Diary of a CEO podcast.
Well, that's the excuse, isn't it, that they'll use?
Yeah. So we've got Diary of a CEO host Stephen Bartlett is amplifying harmful health misinformation on his #1 ranked podcast.
He's made BBC.
In an analysis of 15 health-related podcast episodes, BBC World Science found each contained an average of 14 harmful health claims that went against extensive scientific evidence. But again, he's got guests on there, hasn't he? And it's one of those where...
Well, he's had Simon Cowell.
Yeah.
You know, and Simon Cowell was, looking for the sympathy card with... I just didn't want to be alive anymore. Shut up, you mug.
Yeah.
You mug.
But my kind of conclusion, I don't know how people sort of are feeling about this TMZ thing, but it's made me, like, I had my doubts in the first place, but now I've watched all of that, and we'll just talk about, obviously, the direction that it looked like that was heading.
Yeah.
Because we both picked up on something towards the end, which I'll come back to.
Yeah.
But I believe that he was dead before the fall. Now, however, like I say, me and you don't fully agree on everything, but I think
we agree on that. We agree on that.
Yeah, I don't believe that Liam Payne got into this situation and fell from the balcony. I find it very, very convenient, if you like, that this footage that was seemingly suggested that exists, which was that him physically fallen from the balcony, now seemingly doesn't exist. The authorities don't have it. And what I also can't work out is how TMZ, like, they're quite open and brazen about it as well, and claiming about all of the documents that they got from authorities.
What, those black and white fuzzy photographs that they brought up? Are they fucking joking?
Yeah, and you just think, what are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? Because if you've got any sane brain, you're going to be thinking, right, so they're either full of shit, or... Well, they're in cahoots with law enforcement then, because they're getting paperwork.
100%. And, I will touch on the point again that the Casa is mob-owned. There's 3 of them in the Buenos Aires area. It's owned by the Katina wine-producing family, and the Katina family have got a history of shaking down record companies in the past, being silent partners and taking a cut of that. And the other interesting point is that Simon Cowell's Psycho Publishing in 2023 now goes through Universal. Yeah. So, you know, who would have motive to kill Liam? You know, who's really got the motive to do that and why? There'd be no reason, you know, it ain't over this book. It's not over a cease and desist letter that didn't have any restraining order attached to it. It's over money. It's going to be over money. And that's your motive.
Yeah.
And Simon Cowell was in with Universal, where Liam was signed to. They did drop him.
Yeah.
He was going around doing interviews. He was going to do a documentary. He was starting to speak out. They cannot have a guy out of a pop group running around with 50 million quid in his pocket, knowing everyone's secrets, you know, and doing documentaries. And, you know, he was looking on doing stuff. He was doing a thing called, was it either Building the Band or Building the Brand?
Yeah, Building the Band, yeah. But
Yeah,
also, did you hear what they said? What a lot of people don't know about Liam. Liam was very, very smart. Very, very smart.
Yeah.
You know, he was in investing and stuff like that as well. So he was a very acute at investing. I wouldn't be surprised if it turns out that his wealth is somewhat more than what we've been led to believe it is as well. But in addition to that, like, it was something that Rogelio Norris said, and he said that Liam Payne's very clever. And he kind of used it in a certain way, but it tells you about the mentality of Liam Payne that could have got him in shit with people who were quite dangerous. And that is that they said, Rogelio turned around and he said, look, Liam Payne's family wouldn't have been able to stop Liam Payne doing what he was doing because Liam Payne would have just got sober in order to win that battle. That's how he operated. And I think what he meant by that is when he's got something in his head that he wants to do, he's going to do it.
Yeah,
and that makes him a fucking loose cannon.
Well, I mean, remember the video? I remember seeing a video of him because he'd been out of the spotlight for a while. His hair was longer and he sat there and he went, I'm back. The party's over. Yeah, he made that clear. I even saw that video. I don't know if it was on Snapchat or one of these. He was sat down. He was on a sofa. It was night time. He was sat down talking to the camera and he said, party's over now. So I don't believe he was a drunk. I don't believe he took any drugs. If anything, they probably rubbed a bit of cocaine into his gums so it seeps into his body so it could show up in the report. But look at the first toxicology report.
Yeah,
you know,
look how many
stuff in him.
Look how much that TMZ were trying to push that he had. Do you know what I mean?
I know. Like, they have to push that. They have to push that. They have to.
Yeah. Like these bottles of whiskey, even if they were, like, I think I counted something, it was like 10 or 11 bottles of whiskey over that period of time. So you're thinking to yourself, right, first of all, he couldn't have drunk that much. He physically couldn't. He physically couldn't have. And even if he did as much as he could have, then the toxicology wouldn't have come back. The second one wouldn't have come back the way it did. He would have had fucking alcohol poisoning. That would have been off the charts.
Yeah, unless even if they were miniatures, I still don't think you'd have done that.
No, but then also the fact that TMZ didn't say they were miniatures tells you what they're trying to do. That tells you where they're trying to push everybody. Look, you've got to believe us because he had 10 bottles of whiskey. He had this amount of, the devil's dandruff. He was messaging Rogelio, and he'd signed that fucking message off saying from Liam Payne.
Yeah.
What fucking world would he have messaged Rogelio and said Liam Payne?
Have we ever seen a picture of the smashed laptop?
No. And again, it's just, where is any physical, tangible proof? I just want to see something tangible that truly supports what they're saying. And we're this far down the road, and there isn't anything.
There ain't nothing. They haven't got it, just like they haven't got the video footage of him falling, though they claim to have. There was no fingerprints on the balcony. Now we've got,
the scrape marks,
Freddy Krueger fucking scrape marks,
yeah.
Coming off the balcony. They are adjusting the narrative adjusting the story to fit the narrative that they want you to believe. None of this is true. And like I said to you, I believe all of the photos are grainy for a reason. Yeah. Because if we're looking at the cameras in that place, like I said, if someone did rob it, you're not fucking catching no one with a CCTV system like that. We're looking for fucking two blurs that came in and robbed us.
Yeah.
You know, it's ridiculous. And there is no reason for that camera footage to be black and white and grainy, because the cameras weren't. And you've blurred his face at every given opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, Brett saying he was taking pictures and he was in the lobby. Well, they're all from behind. There's not one picture of his face.
No, not one. Not one single picture.
Not one. And if if he was in a position where we could have seen his face, big fucking blur all over it. I mean, if that don't scream red flag to it, I know it does anyway. I know no one believes this story. No one believes this story.
No.
And I think if we carry on, we can catch them on this, and we should catch them on this. They should be brought to account. The hotel were being cleared in the documentary. That give me the fucking hump. Now it's like, you know, well, they done what they thought they should do on a whim as it was happening. It's like, look, if you've got a pop star and he's in your lobby and he is convulsing, you don't take him up to his fucking room by his arms and legs, then get on the blower and go, yeah, we're a bit worried if they did give him the drugs. And if they did give him the drugs, and we're a bit worried now because when he's conscious, he's smashing everything up. We're a bit worried he could do something to himself. Well, why fucking take him up there anyway? Didn't you have an in-house doctor that you're supposed to use? Well, what, was he on the fucking third floor? You got all this stuff, but now we're just slinging back in the fucking room. It's bullshit. They needed a narrative. They needed a narrative that was going to cater for a fucking head wound.
Yeah.
Right? He had a head wound.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. This is why people have to question Brett. Because if you actually listen to how Brett recounts what happened, and you listen carefully, now what he basically says is, and this is where it becomes really stupid and ridiculous listening to him in the aftermath of it, right?
Yeah.
And we talk about this in lots of cases where people don't question things. So Brett basically says he sees Liam on a sofa on his laptop, right? And he's fine. He's on the laptop. There isn't a problem.
But does he say him, or does he say one of the guests?
Well, he's definitely referring to Liam being there. But this is my point, right? Yeah. So he then says, because he has to, that Liam gets up, he sees something on his laptop, and he throws the laptop down. He then says that the hotel workers take him up to his room. Then Liam Payne comes back down, and it's this point where Liam Payne, he then goes on this tangent of he's under the influence, but in reality, he's just said Liam Payne was fine. He's seen something on his laptop and he's kicked off a bit. The people in the hotel have taken him up to his room, but then he's come down, pretty much looks like he's fucked, falls on the floor and convulsing, and then the hotel workers carry him back out. Now, any fucking normal people, I would be thinking, Brian, they've fucking done something to him.
Yeah.
They've done something to him. He was fine. He was on the sofa. Yeah, something happened then, and he was kicking off a bit, and they've took him out of the way. But he's come back down, and he's very fucking different to what he was when he went up.
If you believe their narrative,
if you believe
which
that.
I don't. Yeah, because
there's
nothing
it would look like to the layman.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
But they can't show you one clear photo. They can't show you him checking in. There is just nothing there. I mean, look at the picture of the latest one that they give you of him coming through the door with Brian behind him. And the pair of them don't look like them. That's not fucking Liam.
Tell who it is.
That is not Liam. That is not fucking Liam. I'm sorry, but pack it in. If that's what they give us after us saying show us him checking in or coming in through the front door clear. It's either dark, it's either blurry. We put a big fucking square over his head. We'll show you. And the way that they've gone from, he was convulsing on the floor, but the next picture we see him from the back and he's up. And that is to support the narrative that once we got him back up in his room, he is able to stand up so he can climb over the balcony and fucking fall off. It's just bollocks. Yeah. It's just bollocks, and it fucking angers me. And these people are just, look, like you say, they're all in cahoots. If you're a mob-owned hotel, don't tell me you ain't got the top police in your fucking pocket. Yes, you have. Toxicology report come out in 5 minutes. That don't happen. Yeah, he's got pink stuff in him. I know what we'd do. We get people saying, oh, it's got something to do with P. Diddy. Get that one out of your head. It's got fuck all to do with P. Diddy. No. Right? It didn't happen. That's just them hoping you'll look over there for the minute. And even this whole TMZ documentary, it is a case of look over there, yeah, while Lucian Grange and Simon Cowell take the money in, yeah, because they are the only ones with a motive to kill him. And on top of that, now he smashed his watch when he smashed the telly up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's brilliant, isn't it? Let's keep changing it. Oh, fuck off, Diana. We don't want you now. Michael Fleischman, you won't be in the documentary. You can fuck off and all.
Yeah.
We've got it now. We've got it. This is what we're going with. Bullshit. I would like to know if his dad has seen the footage that they say they've got of him on the balcony.
Because 100%.
That'd be next. Yeah. This blurry figure on the balcony puts one leg over the balcony. It's like, that's it. That's all we can show you because we don't want to upset the family.
The cameras weren't working, were they? So they went off.
Oh, it just happened to be a camera facing his balcony at that time. It's fucking ridiculous, Harsh.
Yeah. But that's it, isn't it? It's very clear that it seems to be trying to kind of position everyone. I don't know whether you felt this, right? But it was almost like it was an attempt to try and get people to accept that the hotel can't really be held responsible. So when they're not held responsible, you aren't in a position where you can kick off about it. Because were they really responsible? That's what they were going with. Rahilio Norris, was he really responsible? Because he was a 31-year-old man.
I said nothing was going to happen. I said nothing will happen to Roger. Yeah, nothing will happen. Now they're going out of their way to clear the hotel with, is it really on the hotel, or is it Liam's fault? Is it like what you said to me earlier? There you go, Liam, it's all your fault. Under the bus you go, mate, cheerio. That's it. It was about now clearing the hotel.
Yeah.
Because, they can't have it fall on the hotel either, which only leaves Brian, who's got the Spanish Freemason symbol tattooed around his neck, which I just find absolutely amazing with the all-seeing eye right there. Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. And also, I would like to touch on the because they are Masons. That will be the glue that ties them all together. That will be the glue that ties, a mob family, TMZ. They probably put a call into them. We want you to cover this. You're going to deal with this. So we're going to get you're going to take some flack for it, but people are going to be interested. So we want you to put out a couple of pictures of Liam on the floor. You're going to get some scrutiny over it, but this is going to kick the whole thing off and give our story some basis for he was there. Where really, I believe he was killed at Gon's house, right? And Gon's not a no one. Gon's played polo with Prince Harry, for fuck's sake.
Well, he's got a polo team, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he's not a no one, is he? You're playing polo with Prince Harry. You're not a fucking no one.
No.
You're not. Simple as. So that showed me how big these people are. They're all Masons. You've got the old bill in your pocket. We're going to use the Casa Sur as the place for where this has all happened because we need to cater for a head injury. That's when the watch would have got damaged, where he probably would have been covering himself. He could have even got hit with one of them polo things because...
I thought that earlier today. I actually did when I was looking into that guy. I did think, it was there some kind... The watch, there's certain things, isn't there, where...
it'll have the time of death. That's
Yeah.
when it stopped working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That to
covering
me.
his hand because he's been hit over the head.
Yeah.
You're going to go like that. The
Yeah.
next whack is going to finish your
Yeah.
watch. But
It
he's
is
done
either
it.
broken and it's revealing a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That had to go missing. You
Yeah.
know, that had to go missing.
Yeah.
Which is why Brett is so. Oh, you know, he had his watch on when he's on the. Or did he have the watch on when he was on the? We couldn't tell from the
You
picture because
can't
the watch
see
would have
it.
been.
You can't see it.
No, well, the bracelet weren't on the other wrist, so I'm
Yeah.
going to take it. The watch weren't on there, which is why they have to get Brett to go. Yeah, he had his watch on. Like you'd be looking for that.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd be picking up on that detail. You wouldn't.
No.
You know, he's reading his emails. We think he got an email that, you know, upset him. He smashed his laptop. He didn't even have a fucking laptop in his hand. That was paperwork in a black ring binder that was photoshopped next to the lift.
Yeah.
None of the pictures, in my view, none of the pictures are real. And the girl with a see-through leg and the other one with a claw robotic hand and levitating feet. For me, the whole thing is a fucking joke. You know, it's an absolute joke. But this is the power of the media. And you will still have some people going, yeah, you know, but someone heard screams the night before. I'll fucking give over.
And
you know, did you see them? Have they done a witness statement? No.
And just to touch on a story that you told me the other day, because obviously there is still going to be people who are skeptical, and we spoke about people being skeptical of this, and it was about how the mob can get involved in the music industry. Why would they get involved in the music industry?
Yeah.
Now, I've had the person who actually spoke about the other night, I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Because I've had dealings with him for a friend of mine. And what
Reggie.
was because my friend was a very, very good boxer and could have turned professional. But what it was, the bones in his eyes, the hair, were prone for cuts. And every time he got in the ring, someone had hit him because they knew that he had this sort of prominent bone that would cut his eye.
Right.
So they actually offered to pay to have the operation to shave them bones down.
So it didn't keep splitting every time
keep
got
splitting, but he would have to allow them to kind of manage him and earn from his career. And he turned them down. Right. But they were cool about it. But they gave him the option.
Yeah, no, I mean, so was Reggie when I spoke to him. And, you know, I'll clue people up on that as well. I may as well just tell people. So years and years ago, a tattoo artist in Walthamstow was doing a tattoo for me. I wanted a tribal band. And I'm sitting up there and I'm looking on the wall and I'm like, what are these drawings up here, Tel? And he's like, oh, they're from Reggie Cray. And I'm like, fuck off, you don't know the Crays. He was like, I do, I'll get a VO and I'll take you down there. So that's what he done. He got a VO and he took me, my ex-wife Natasha, Tony Mortimer, and obviously Terry tattoo artist. And he drove us down. I think we went, it was either Maidstone or Dover. It was one of the two. And we went in and we got Peter Sutcliffe on the table behind us, Yorkshire Ripper. He's just sitting over there, getting on with it. And we sat down and Reggie Cray come out. And we sat there for a couple of hours and spoke. And he was like, you know, it's good what you're doing. He talks really quiet, so you have to lean in when he was talking. But I was just blown away. I was like, I can't fucking believe it. And we swapped numbers, and he would ring my house every day. I'd wake up here, my nan would say to me, Reggie's rung again. I'm like, oh, is he? You know, I fucking know the Crays. I only met Reggie. And when I got the sack from E17 in 1997, being set up with an ecstasy interview that wasn't meant for me, it was meant for Tony Mortimer. But because I told the manager what I thought of him and I found out what he'd done, I stood up and had a go at the manager. And from that point, they needed to set me up to make it look like I'd done it to myself. So they set up an interview at Top of the Pops with a guy called Anthony Simon, who had just started out in regional radio. And I gave him his break. They wanted to talk to Tony, but they gave him me. And I basically said what Tony said to a guy, what Tony said to an interviewer when he was talking to The Guardian. I remember walking in on the interview and looking at John thinking, fuck, should he be saying that? But the Guardian interview guy didn't turn Tony over and done a good piece. I said a lot of the same things. I said some things that were, you know, I shouldn't have said, but I didn't think anyone would give a fuck, really. You know, I didn't realise that they was going to make a big thing out of it. And the next morning, I was public enemy #1 over talking about the drug ecstasy. And when I got sacked, Reggie Cray sent me a tape from his prison cell, and it's actually, it was a nice thing of him to do. And he starts off by telling me, don't forget all about your bad thoughts. Be single-minded. You're only young yet. You're only 23. Just picturize it, visualize it, and it'll all happen. And he starts then saying to me, "I've got a meeting later on with EMI. I'm going to talk to them about you." And there you go. There are gangsters, mobsters involved. The guy's in prison.
Yeah.
But he's having a meeting with EMI Records.
And I've heard this call, by the way, haven't I? So
you've
for
heard
those
it, and,
who doubt this call happened, Brian played me the call the other day. I've listened to the call.
I'll be happy to play it to you. Be happy to play it for you, mate. So it's a real thing. And
are you able to play it? If I ask, if people want to hear this call,
I should be able to, yeah. If it all play back through the microphone off of the desktop, yeah, I will play it for you. Let me just move this out of the way, and then you'll have to tell me if you can hear. Tell me if you can hear this.
Good morning, Brian.
Yeah.
It's Craig speaking.
Yeah, you can hear that, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, let me rewind it and I'll play a bit for you. I'll play it up to the point where he says, "I've got a meeting with EMI," yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so anyone that's out there that thinks that gangsters are not involved with record companies, right? Listen very closely. This is something
one of the most notorious gangsters of our lifetime.
And you know what? He was a really nice bloke. He never said anything fucking wrong to me. He was respectable. He was trying to give me lyrics. I couldn't believe it. Butterfly of Love. I've got Reggie Cray sending me song lyrics. Butterfly of Love. I could not believe what was happening to me. I couldn't believe it. I didn't even want to go, "Oh, I don't want to do it." You know what I mean? He was a nice bloke. Everyone's going to have different stories about him, but I can only speak from my own personal experience. And to me, he was really nice, and I haven't got anything bad to say about him. I never met his brother. I only met him. But all I can say is he was respectful to me. He didn't have to send me this audio recording, but he did. So here we go.
Good morning, Brian. This is Reg Cray speaking. It's Friday, the 6th of August. I spoke to your Green yesterday, a lovely person, as you know, and I was very pleased that you stay there whenever. And I'd like to give you, before I give you some words of advice, which I help you, because I genuinely want to help you, say hello to your grand for me. Give him my love. What I'd like to say, Brian, is you're just 23 years of age, so you're just a baby, you've got plenty of time. And what I advise you to do is be single-minded and forget any bad thoughts about those who have tried to mess up your career. And if you be single-minded and think positive, forget about them entirely and strive to be successful again, which you can be and will be. And that is the best way to hit back at those who try to undermine your career. You can do it. You've got a smashing voice. I think you've got a great voice. And I figure I might be able to help you somehow. And I'll tell you my thoughts. I've got to meet with EMI on the 13th of this month, very soon. And I'll speak to them about you. And I've got some lyrics which I think are ideal for you. One's called The Butterfly of Love, which I'll talk about to you in a moment. And I'm not doing this just because I want to do lyrics with you, and that's true, that's sincere truth. I know that you've got a great voice, and I think these lyrics are ideal for you. But regardless whether you do it with my lyrics or your own or with someone else's, forget all about your bad thoughts. Be single-minded and be determined to get back on top. Positive thinking. Try threefold prayer, where you pray, you picturise, and you visualise, it happening, and it will all happen. I know you can make it. Show them what you can do. You're only young yet. And forget all the bad thoughts of vengeance or whatever. The best way to get to the top is to strive to do so. You can do. You will do. And then you'll make them sick. Because whereas some have had a go at you, other newspapers have not. And they love a comeback. They like to knock you down, but they also like a comeback. And other newspapers will give you a field day. They'll give you a field day for change.
So I won't, that goes on for 45 minutes, and it's, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
That
must bring back some memories.
Going to talk to EMI, So when I say that I made the link from the Katina wine producing family, which own the Casa Sur hotels. The Katina family, there was a guy called Jerry Katina, early 1900s, and he was shaking down record companies. And if you think this doesn't still go on today, as gangsters in the background are silent partners, shaking down, for example, Universal Music, someone made Lucian Grange a Sir, because the head of that record company is Sir Lucian Grange, and to get knighthoods and stuff, we know there's all backhanders that go on and all types of business deals. So you're dealing with serious people. Now, Liam would have been paid a massive, for him to have 50 million quid in his pocket, he has been paid a serious amount of money on a solo deal, which they've decided isn't working, and they've dropped him. To get your money back, then this artist suddenly dies, all of the 1D albums start recharting, which I believe they have. Yeah. 30, 40 million fans around the world, because they smashed America. We wasn't known in Argentina and places like that. They smashed America. So you imagine the amount of money involved in 30, 40 million fans going out buying 1D's previous, I don't know how many albums it is, 4 or 5 albums at £20 a pop. That works out to billions and billions of dollars. Now, if the Katina family are in the background and going to get a cut of that, to lose one man, to Photoshop a few pictures, to get a couple of crisis actors in, to even go as far as to get a body double in, where they'll stick transfers on his arms and keep all the photographs blurry in order to get that money back. You really think that's not possible? It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. And especially with Simon Cowell, there would have been other stuff behind it. Liam obviously knew something. He knew some stuff that could be quite dangerous to people. Like, I would suggest Simon Cowell. And considering what I know about Cowell now and what he's covered up with Katie Waisel, another X Factor artist, well, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the real motive behind Liam's death. And I don't believe he was ever at the Casa Sur Hotel. And TMZ have not even told us in that documentary who sold them pictures to them. I believe they don't even want to touch upon it, because those pictures themselves will also be fake.
Yeah.
But they've had to cater for a head injury. And that's how the watch, I believe, has been broken at the same time. And that's my theory, and that's what I believe.
Yeah,
and nothing.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, we've got our thoughts sort of entwine somewhat. They do entwine somewhat. I believe that whatever happened, the watch played a key to it, in that it was broken during the struggle, whatever happened, when it happened.
Time of death on it.
Yeah. And
what do you think, Harsh? Like, in your heart of hearts, like, forget what I'm saying. Like, what do you believe? What do you really believe? Like, when you go off camera and you sit down and you go, I think this has happened. Like, what do you really think's happened? What do you think?
So I know, like, but like what you've just talked about, people being involved in kind of the mob and what have you in the music world. Well, believe it or not, I was, for over a decade, I was in retail management for DFS Furniture.
Okay.
Right. And we used to have manufacturers all over the world, and some of the manufacturers were in Italy. And we knew, because we had a very close relationship with Softline and the guy who owned that, and also two of the managers who were in my area were also Italians. And they actually stated that we had to put our prices up because they were being threatened by the mafia that they had to pay them protection money. So that was in the retail world that the mob were getting involved in retail price on a fucking sofa shop because they knew Softline, the amount of money they were doing, and they said, we're going to have some of it. And if we don't have some of it... And I remember having a sit down with one of the area directors, and he was like, we've got to put the price up because this is serious. They have gone into Softline and said, you will pay us this or you ain't doing business. Yeah. That's as simple as that. So with respect of how that translates into this, I think when you're looking at a hotel where you've got seemingly active drug dealers around the hotel, Liam Payne seemingly knowing that he can go to this hotel and be facilitated in that, I find that is bizarre for a start. Because you're not just going to go to somewhere that's alien to you and think, oh no, I'm just going to randomly go up to this twat over here and say, can you get me 6Gs? When there's a potential of someone going, what the fuck is he on about? I can't believe Liam Payne just came up to me and asked me to get him drugs. Do you know what I mean? The next thing you know, that's on fucking YouTube. That's the way I look at it. So I look at it like this is potentially a mob hotel, and and he's there because he's been told that is potentially that, and he can probably just chill out and do whatever he's doing. I don't know, or he's gone in there unknowingly and someone else has physically put him in there. Well, I think someone inside that hotel has bumped him off in that hotel, whether it's purposefully, whether there's an altercation, and then because they've got the connections that they have, the money that they have, they've been able to wrap this up and make it look like he's just a fucking out-of-control guest who's done us a fucking disservice, and they've done it.
Right. Well, I agree, obviously, with some of that. With it being a mob-owned hotel, I believe that they've probably brought him in the night, if they have had him now and laid him out, because they knew where they own that hotel, everyone that works for them and everyone that they can bring in around that is completely controlled by them. So no one's going to talk. No one is going to talk. No one's going to step out of line, especially the hotel staff. Everyone's going to go along, and it's a place where they could contain the story to make the narrative that they want to make. And whether he was killed there, it makes sense to me that it could have happened at Gons and they moved him from there, because the DNA, you may control the head of the police, but there'd be people underneath him that are probably, become police because they want to change the world. There must be a couple of them in the police force like that.
Yeah.
And, if it weren't controlled, they would go, well, this ain't right and that's not right.
Yeah.
And point things out. So it has to be able to be controlled. So either he was at the Casa Sur and he's died before and they've thrown him over the balcony to cater for the head wound. Personally, I know he hasn't jumped and he hasn't climbed over it. To see where he's landed and the way that he's landed, he would have had to have been thrown by 3 or 4 people. Could they risk that up at that height with other buildings on looking, and if the wedding guests were genuine, risk doing that and being seen? I mean, Brett and the bird in the room already reckon they see him falling. So if that's genuine, they could have seen people throwing him. Could they risk that with genuine wedding guests coming in there? Or are they all crisis actors and all controlled? Same with TMZ. You think there won't be mob in the background of TMZ saying this is what
you'd be foolish to think that it's not fucking possible. I think that's you'd have to be naive to think that there aren't strings behind the media. We can see it. Like I said before, unless you're an idiot, you can clearly see that TMZ they're pushing a specific narrative, and
Yes.
the people they're using to do it, they can't even get their fucking story straight, and that's
No. Brett is a terrible talker, mate. He is like, he talks and he's like, I've got to stop for a minute because I've got to think about the next bit. And
yeah.
he's just like, fucking spit it out, man. He's like, he can't because he is really, he's got the weight probably of the mob on his shoulders. You better fucking get that right.
Yeah.
So they would have to use actors. Even this Brian geezer, ain't he an actor?
Yeah.
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 Even Brian's an actor, and he's got some.
He don't look right, do he? Like you say, none of them. None of them you look at and think I can trust that person. None of them have said something where you can think, right, that story makes sense. Not one of them have said something where the story hasn't changed, or there's been some conflict somewhere else that means that it can't possibly be true. Down to.
I can give you an example of that. If I bring up, let me just bring up on here so I've got the documentary up here, right? All the bits that you sent me. At the minute, I'm looking at the so-called entourage in the lobby, where Brett's in the background with a beer. Nice clear picture there. But all of the extras that they've used in this that are supposed to be part of the entourage, their faces are all blurred. But again, the rest of the picture is nice and crisp and clear. We can see Brett with his so-called beer can, because we know they like to tie things in. Like he's got his beer can in his hand here. He's got it in his hand when he's up in the room. He must have followed Liam, if there was any truth to the matter. He must have gone seconds after him to be in the room to have him drop. Also, if these wedding guests were about from the morning until the afternoon, like Brett mentions in the documentary, then how comes none of them, and Brett himself mentions that, well, there was 2 sex workers standing at the desk, and Liam's supposed to be arguing with them at the desk, and the manager translating for him. And according to the Fleischmans, that's their part of the story where they come in. At 2 p.m, Liam's in the lobby arguing with this woman. But he's not. He's in the lift, coming out as a blur, taking something off of someone down in the basement.
Yeah.
Right? So, and how comes Brett doesn't mention the 2 sex workers at the desk? Because Roger comes and pays for them at 3:45 p.m. Well, they'd be there while the wedding entourage was about in the hotel lobby then, because Roger leaves at 4:04 p.m. saying Liam was chatting with everyone, 10 to 15 of them.
Yeah.
And it was playful.
So there would have had to have been an overlap of that conversation with the wedding guests.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And he doesn't mention anything about any sex workers. So it makes perfect sense to me why there's no Fleischmans involved in the documentary. And if you want to smash the whole story, this fan, Diana, she sees him at 3 p.m, talks to him. He said he's just woke up. But Roger's meant to have had fucking breakfast with him at 10 o'clock, necking back fucking whiskey then. Brett says that he sees him get taken back to his room multiple times. Well, I don't know how that's possible either. You could have only have seen that happen twice at the most. So it's not multiple. You'd say fucking twice.
No, it would have been just after the laptop incident, if you're going along with his story, which would have been within the space of about 20 minutes.
Yeah. And
after 4 o'clock.
Yeah. And Roger pays for the 2 sex workers at 3:45. So he goes 19 minutes later at 4 minutes past 4, and everything's all right. But at 4 p.m, we've got a hotel worker saying he's clearly out of his nut when they show you a corridor picture of him. But then how can Roger say he was fine, nothing out of the ordinary? None of it makes any sense. Their story is a piece of shit, and as far as I'm concerned, they've all been caught. Been caught. And where's Diana? Diana, 3 p.m. He's just woke up. Well, you didn't take a fucking picture of him? I find that hard to believe. You know, I've been in that situation myself. You'd have had 20, 30, 40 pictures of you taken. You even touch the lobby and there's a fan down there. Oh, can I just get it? Can you sign this? And can you do that? That's how it goes. And plus, she would have stayed there and seen the whole affair because she had a mate that was coming in a little while. Can you come back down after you've eaten, Liam? Because someone's coming to give you a gift. So she would have been there the whole time, but she ain't in the documentary, you know, repeating none of this. And neither are the Fleischmans that said the lobby was empty. Right? So they're fucked. They're fucked. And no one is ever going to believe this story. So fuck knows where this is going to go.
Well, we will know by this time, I imagine, Brian. This weekend coming. I imagine by Friday we'll know where it's going because they're supposed to be talking on, is it the 17th and 18th? Yeah, today or tomorrow. The Zoom calls are actually happening either today or tomorrow.
Oh, that's going to be bullshit. That's going to be bullshit. You can't charge Roger because there's no contract there saying, you know, I'm his fucking babysitter. I was contracted to be there. He's left. His statement is, well, he was fine, you know, when I left. And if they're happy to take that statement off of him in the first place, like he was even actually fucking there, it shows that the police are in on it anyway, and they're there to clear him. And that's what the TMZ documentary is all about. Clearing Roger while he's sitting there pushing up the fucking pyramid while he's talking. Yeah. The other geezer, TMZ, he's sitting there doing that on the other one when he's talking. Yeah. The first rundown that he gives, not this documentary, but the first one. The hotel workers are now getting, you know, a sympathetic spin on it with, you know, well, you know, they did what they could. And it's like, well, that's bullshit, because if you've got someone convulsing in the lobby, you put him on the sofa down there and call an ambulance. Yeah. Plus, you've got an in-house doctor. You didn't call him. You fucking went and threw him in the room, which I don't believe even happened anyway. And so you've done absolutely everything wrong, even if the story was real. And if the story was real, then the hotel should be getting completely shut down, everyone arrested. But that won't happen because it's all mob-owned and it's going to go. We're going to clear everyone. And like I said from the beginning, nothing will happen to Roger. No. Even Brian, nothing will happen there either because they'll just go, he's not credible, you know. But the bit is, if they are going along with this drug narrative, who's getting arrested for bringing some drugs? Some random we've never heard of yet.
The geezer who wouldn't speak to TMZ.
Him, yeah, it'd be him, wouldn't it?
He'd be the fall guy, wouldn't he?
And it won't be his real identity either. It's just some geezer we've seen pop his head out of the door. We'll never fucking see him again.
No, but that would have been done purposefully, Brian. They wouldn't have put anything on there without that having a part to play.
Yeah. So are we predicting right now it's going to be him that takes the fall?
Yeah, I reckon that will be someone out of the main story. That will be someone who we've not seen, that we've not really had interaction with, that he's got done for supplying narcotics.
Random, yeah. Random who we've never seen, we'll never know, we'll never ever fucking get to know. And he got imprisoned.
Yeah, Brian will walk because there won't be any evidence, really. That will just be his word against, and there's no witnesses, so they can't prove anything.
Yep.
Roger, he'll walk because they'll basically say that Liam was, like they basically said, they've told you how this is going to end. You know, Liam is 31 years old. He doesn't have a legal responsibility, even though they did kind of slip up there because they almost made it sound like there was a contractual obligation that he was, but I don't think that was. I don't think that was.
No, there is no real. He's just, I'm his friend. I cared about him, and you know, I came to the hotel 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he says, I went and had breakfast with him, and he drunk fucking, 6 whiskeys and that. Even that ain't, you. I suppose you could have him up on that to a certain degree, but like I said, nothing's going to happen to Roger. He's played his part, and like I said from the beginning, it's going to be Roger. You're going to get some stick. You can imagine the mafia telling that you're going to get some stick. Blah blah blah. You have nothing to worry about. You get cleared in the end. Right? We got this all sorted. Top old bill, toxicology report, anything you fucking want. So it's nothing's going to happen to them people. Like you say, it'll be a random that takes the fall for it all. And then after that, it'll all blow over and everything will carry on as normal.
Yeah. And what you'll also find as well, and what will help this process along, will be the fact that why they put so much information out there and all sorts of stories as well is it causes fatigue. People will fatigue on Liam Payne. Like, I've already seen it, and you may have seen it. People are already starting to get to the point where it's like, fuck me, when are we going to be done with it? But what people don't understand is that's part of the process. They depend upon that. They depend upon people to get to the point where they're like, fuck's sake. There's so much shit now, I don't know what to believe, and at this point, I don't really fucking care.
That's it. My brain hurts.
Yeah, my brain hurts from it. I'm done. I can't.
I'll accept the official narrative. Just stop.
That's it. Just make it stop. Just please make it go away. And that's
enough. But we can't. We don't. People, everyone out there that's watching, don't let this go. Don't let this go. I know it hurts, right? Yeah. But don't let it go. Let's get Liam justice, right?
Yeah.
Don't care who these people are. Yeah, they all get up and have a shit in the morning. They're just fucking human beings, and they can't go around and kill everyone, right? Do not let this go.
Yeah, 100%.
Do not let this go. Yeah.
But look, I think we can wrap up, shall we? It's late, Brian.
Yeah.
It's late.
Yeah.
It's now midnight.
I'm having trouble staying up doing it till at 10:45. I was fucked up.
But all I will say, my friend, that's a fucking honour to have you on there, my friend. You're someone who...
Thanks for having me on, man. Thanks for having me.
You know what I mean? You're someone who I did watch. We was actually sitting there and we was listening to some old tracks fucking the other morning. And do you know what I mean? I think you're a fucking fantastic guy. One of the few people who do actually want to come out and speak. Do you know what I mean? And people... Okay. We're not always going to agree with absolutely everything, but I think what you do, Brian, is that you're someone who's been through it. You've come out the other side of it, and you can see, you know, obviously I listened to that call that you put out yesterday, and you could tell that guy was fucking gaslighting you to fuck. Do you know what I mean? I
see through them though. I do have the ability to see through them, and they don't like that about me, and they go out of their way to destroy people like that. They don't want the truth. Just like they don't want the truth about what the manager has done to one of the band members. No one wants the truth. I get it. No one wants to hear it.
Yeah.
But it's the truth, and I can't let these things go. I'm not interested in ever being out there again making music. I know some people are like, "Oh, go on, Brian, get back out there." You know, even Reggie. You know, show them what you're made of. It's like, forget it. It's done. It's done. But what's not done is that doesn't mean to say that I can't get the truth out there, because people need to know what these managers and these record companies are like. You know, people that have got young kids that are going into the music industry. I think we do have some sort of an obligation to go, look, it ain't going to change your life for the better. You may end up getting completely knocked for all your money. I've sold 30 million records and I'm sat here on benefits, and I don't care. You know, money's not everything. I'd rather use what fame I've got now to help tell the truth. And if it helps some people that are thinking about going into the music industry, maybe they'll think twice about it, because I know what it's like to be 17 and think, well, how can this damage my life in any way? Anything that comes from this has got to be good. Well, here I am at 50 years of age now, years later, and I'm here to tell you I'd have been better off being a plumber and living a normal life, you know, because it's not all it's cracked up to be. And, you know, if you're me, you know, whether you make it successful, you end up with nothing, you still don't win. If you're Liam Payne and you got 50 million quid in your pocket, you've got even more to worry about, and you still don't win, you know? So it doesn't matter what you do, you know, just make the right decisions in your life, and think twice about being famous, because it will put an enormous pressure on you that it will just cause depression and anxiety, and more than likely ruin your life. There's not many famous people out there that have got loads of money that seem happy to me. I don't know about you, Ash, but no one that's got any money seems to be like silly money. Yeah. None of them look happy. None of them look happy. I'd rather have nothing and be able to speak the truth, be who you are, you know, and live your life. You know, it's not all about money. It's not.
Yeah. You know, we sadly live in a world, don't we, where you don't even have to have a massive amount of money to have people now look at you differently and you be at risk.
No.
Because there's so many people who don't have anything, or there's people who want to take what you have away from you.
Well, I know what that one's like, you know.
But I think we also need to just take a minute just to think about Katie Waisel as well. She's obviously come out and she's spoken to you in depth about her experiences. And
well, she would come on. I know for a fact she would come on, and she would be the perfect person to kind of follow on from me coming on here talking, because she knew Liam. She'll tell you he weren't a drug taker. He's not this person that they've met. She knows him. Yeah. And she also knows what Simon Cowell's like and how he covers up crimes of sexual abuse, non-consensual sexual abuse by Simon Cowell's head of A&R. And I've already shown you who this guy is. All you got to do is look on my TikTok and put two and two together, and you will see who it is. It's not really. I know I've got. You saw it. I sent you the written consent from Katie to name this guy, but I'm going to let her do it because it's her story. It's for her, but I want her to tell you what she knows about Simon Cowell, and you tell me after this if you think he's not behind what's happened to Liam here and the record company. You know, you be the judge of that once you've heard what she's got to say.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Yeah,
we will do that. But yeah, so thank you very much, Brian. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Thanks, pleasure.
I'm sure we'll continue speaking anyway. I'll let you. I'll let you go and get some well-deserved rest, my friend. Get some beauty sleep.
Yes, mate. I need it.
And we shall see. Like I say, we'll see what happens in the next couple of days and see how this does turn. And if it does turn into something completely a different kind of beast, then maybe we'll get back together and get on air and have a discussion about that, if you're up for doing that.
Yeah, I'll be up for that. I think the only thing that would change this whole thing is if they pulled out the footage of actually Liam. And they may...
you can see it.
Yeah, and you can see it
them to do it, Brian.
But, mate, even if you could see it, in this day and age now, they can deep fake people's faces. You could have a crash mat down the bottom. You could have a stunt man. You can deep fake someone else's face in it. I don't even think you could trust that if they pulled that out.
No.
You know?
Yeah, it would be a difficult one, but it would be interesting to see if they would go that far.
Yeah, well, if we keep putting the pressure on them, they may have to try and go
and
that
maybe
far.
that is them when they slip up. If they do go to push it just too far, which I think that fucking ship has sailed, personally.
I think they've already done it. Yeah, I think they've already done it.
But we'll see.
I think they've already pushed it too far. Stories don't marry up. It's complete poop, all of it. It's lies. They've murdered him, and we will get him justice. I'm sure of it.
We will do. There's a lot of people who want justice. There's a lot of people, and it's just about not letting the fatigue set in and seeing it through at the end. It's absolutely seeing it through.
I think we should just make sure we do. You know, take a break if you have to, come back to it, but you know, let's do it this time. Let's get these people. You know, let's get them. Don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. Don't keep believing their narratives. The media lie. And if you want confirmation of that, go and look at my videos because I can prove it. I think I sent you some evidence earlier as well, Harsh.
100%.
It's undeniable, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you're not subscribed to Brian Harvey, BHTV, I'll get the link dropped in the chat.
And if you're not subscribed to Harsh, make sure you subscribe because he wants to get up to 50% before Christmas.
Before Christmas, yeah.
And hit the like, everyone. However many people in the room. Please just hit the like, Hit the like.
On the way out, smash that like. If you believe that this story that you're being fed is absolute bollocks, make sure to smash a like on the way out. That'll be a good indicator. Okay, my friend. Thank you once again, Brian. You go have yourself a good sleep, my friend, and we'll catch up tomorrow.
All right, mate. Take care.
Bye.
See you later.
So there you go. So there you go, everybody. I just want to say thank you very much to the mods. Thank you very much. You do a fantastic job. You know you do. I'm just going to get rid of that off the screen. I apologise that I couldn't get into chat, but to be fair, I'm pretty sure that probably you didn't really bother about me getting in chat. It was nice to see Brian. I think that was a good chat. Very, very good chat. Obviously, I'll go through the comments tomorrow and have a look. Thank you for anybody who done super chats and super stickers. That was very, very kind of you. And yeah, I will look to potentially speak to Katie Waisel. I did speak to Brian about that situation. I haven't spoken directly with Katie yet, but we will continue to try and shed some light on what has gone on in this situation. But for now, it's gone midnight. It's now Wednesday, and you know what Wednesday means? It's the midweek hump, and we all have a midweek hump. So guess what? I'm getting out of here. Again, thanks mods, thanks everyone, thanks for spending some time with us. Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and like I say, I'll go through the chat afterwards. Thank you very much, Dope. Also today, special mention because it was Dope who managed to get hold of the TMZ documentary and send it over to me this afternoon. Which, if she hadn't have been able to do it, I'd have been screwed. I just see Katie in there. Thank you, Katie. I will speak to Brian, Katie, and look to speak to you over the next few days, and perhaps we'll all get together. I did see Mrs. Harsh in chat. I don't know whether she's still here, but yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. I'm off. My brain's starting to give out. But until next time, take care. Love you all. Mwah.